that, and you don't get any more cars.
It
If you
looks like
drive
we're
it away,
live.
go Leve,
The guy
go
with the Mets
Leve.
hat that's New York Vinnie with the Mets hats. He's got reason to be happy, and a Mets
Well, you got
shirt
reason to be happy to too,
and a Mets
Michael
smile.
Knight over there with the what hat you got on?
I got a Hollywood hat.
Oh, Hollywood, Hollywood. Yes, there's reason to be happy. There's joy in Mudville today. If Mudville is, well, really, New
But
York or San Francisco.
but like everything in Mudville, you got to pay your way. You want to be happy? It's going to cost you 765 million.
Well, that's the is that you are. Sorry, I did not sleep last night. You are looking at a situation where
Go
I
ahead.
fear that we're going to see the first $350 beer at a ballpark.
That's $350 for a single beer.
Right, not a six pack, not a case, not a keg,
Is it a warm beer with a
not
plastic
even a
covering?
snifter. Not even a Stein. Just the Harry M. Stevens guys who will not have uniforms anymore.
Can't afford it.
No, they're gonna have to wear just underwear. That's it. Just go out there in their underwear.
But that's fine in August. It's a little nippy in October, and you plan to be playing in October. I think that's the whole idea here, right?
I would say that would be the whole idea is that you would want to see that the team that signed Juan Soto to the 15-year, $765 million contract would be playing in October. Although I will say that part of this deal was accomplished already. And the biggest part of this deal, not the biggest part of the deal, the biggest part of the deal is him playing. But part of this is beating the Yankees. Part of this is you have an owner that most major league teams could only wish for, and he has more money than he knows what to do with, but he actually does know what to do with it. And his idea was, well, we want superiority in New York. We're not the 62 Mets. We're not the 86 Mets. We're not the Mets of losing and losing and losing. We're the Mets of what we saw last year.
The Mets
We're the Mets
plus.
of we can create as much excitement here in Queens as they can in the Bronx. And they have 27 world championships and this and that and the other thing and yada, yada, yada. But we're going to do our best we can't beat them on that, but we sure can beat them um, on pop in the newspapers and pop on a podcast and pop on, in the world's biggest media market.
Well, you know what they're going to criticize? They're going to criticize his play in the field. He can't pick up a ground ball. What's wrong with it? $765 million. He can't find his glove between innings.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I mean, that's coming. But you know what? You can buy a nice pair of those Apple earbuds
Listen to your
for
own
seven hundred
music.
sixty-five million, and not listen to any of that. You know, he gets to go up there, and I mean, I don't. The only thing I could think of last night is what is it going to be for him? You know, when you get off of the Major Deegan Expressway at
Like you
Yankee
do,
Stadium,
because you got to
you
get
go
off.
one
You can't stay on it. You have to get off.
yeah, you go one short block, and then you drive into the garage, into the parking lot at Yankee Stadium. And there's a guy out there that takes your car, parks it. You walk across the street to the entrance. You go in. Um, at City Field, you get off the GCP, or you get off the Van Wyck, depending on which way you're coming from.
You say hello
If
to
you're
the
living in
junkyard.
Manhattan, you got to. If you live in Manhattan, you got to hit Northern Boulevard. or the GCP, and you get off and you come down, and you're probably going to come under the L at Roosevelt Avenue, and the street is pretty crappy.
Too much
You know,
exposure here. Too much exposure, Vinny.
yeah, and all of a sudden now you're driving down the street, and I'm trying to think, well, what kind of car is this guy going to have? Is he even going to be driving, or are they going to drive him to work?
Yes.
Um, or are they just going to build him a condo out in the parking lot and say, you stay there. We don't want you going anywhere. But that's not what's going to happen. Um, you know,
I wonder where he lives now.
yeah, good question. It's, I mean, he's going to be living somewhere nice. Now it's obvious. There's a master of obviousness. But he's going to have to. He's not going to have to adjust his life because he's already had a year of living in New York. So he doesn't have to move. He doesn't have to do this. Although I would suggest that he think about Long Island as opposed to trying to get over to Whitestone Bridge at 3:00 in the afternoon or 2:00 in the afternoon.
You got a nice condo on Fifth Avenue, but you still got to get out of town to get to Queens.
Right. No, same with the Bronx. I doubt he'll be taking the subway because this guy's going to get harassed and jumped on everywhere he goes. I mean, he's got a 15-year contract, and you think about that. He can't have a slump in 15 years. And there's no player that can do that.
Ask Aaron Judge.
Yeah. And when he gets a slump, especially you get to the final 5 years of that contract, it's going to be all about, is he done? But that's for another time. Right now, Met fans are happy. Yankee fans are pissed off. Pirates and Mariner fans are like, what the hell? We're never going to get a chance to get to the World Series. And then Giant fans are happy, I would think, too, with Willie Adames coming over.
Well, we got a shortstop. We needed a shortstop. We haven't had a regular shortstop since Brandon Crawford went to the semi-retired and went to the Cardinals for a year. And this guy's doesn't look like a shortstop. He's 6'2", 220, 32 home runs, big RBI guy, big bat, big stick, and a lot of people don't know about Willie Adames because he came up with Tampa Bay and then went to Milwaukee, two small market teams without a lot of scrutiny, without a lot of television time, without a lot of stars. And now the Giants said, "You're the man." 172 million. Buster Posey's first big move.
I like the move. I mean, again, you're at a franchise that has to signal that we're doing something.
And instead of 15 years, they gave him 7 for 172 million.
Well, if he's out of work after 7, he can call Juan Soto up and maybe borrow a couple of million.
I think a lot of people are going to be hitting up Soto. Well,
yeah,
you're never going to miss it. You're never going to miss it. You know that.
He's got family members calling him that he never knew he had.
He's got him now. I'm your brother. You always knew that. Mom said.
I mean, it's just it's an incredible contract. $55 million a year, $51 million a year, goes up to 55. If they want to get out of the contract, they got to give him a raise to 55 at a certain point, and then they have an option to get rid of him.
If he pulls his hamstring or his Achilles on day one, I got a bad feeling about this.
Well, Michael, even though I'm happy about it, even though it's a wonderful thing, even though they beat the Yankees, even though that it's a great deal, and this guy is supposedly the real deal. I always see it. How many of these guys sign these big contracts and they become different players, different people.
Yeah.
You got to hope that he's not that. Now, I guess Steve Cohen met with him a bunch of times, did it a little bit differently than everybody else did. Cohen has the advantage of living out in California, and that's where Scott Boras. How much money does that guy packing?
He can't spend it all anymore.
Man, you talk about a dude that's I mean he's what does he get, 10% of all of these deals
Or more.
or more? Unbelievable.
Remember, remember
765.
10 years ago, people, the world around baseball is we hate Scott Boras. We hate the way he negotiates. We hate the way he demands. We hate the way he works. We hate the way he's playing the game. He's not an agent. He's a new
A
animal. We don't
shark.
like him. Not so much anymore.
That was the story 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when he did the Alex contract. Um, I had met him and spoken to him, and then spoken to people in the Mariners, and the Mariners disdained him. They
So
didn't really want much to do with him.
so he doesn't take care of his business there anymore. He doesn't even call them. And if they call him, good luck.
Well, he just thinks that this is Boris. There's no, Juan Soto. I mean, 765 million. Okay, but he is going to realize so much more money because of commercials, because
Right.
of just different things that he's going to be. Now he doesn't need to do anything except the required promo commercials for the Mets. But this is a guy that's going to, I mean, this should launch him into superstar territory as far as an entertainer, besides being an actor, besides being a baseball player. Excuse me.
And he knows going into this that it's a double-edged sword. Ask any of the Yankees how they feel about the World Series. It was a deep
Well,
disappointment.
he'll be happy to get there. I'll be happy if they get there one more time before I shuffle off the coil. Um,
You shuffle and
yeah,
then you get it, and then when you put down the coil or it falls off when you shuffle, or how does it work?
I don't know what happens, man. I'd like to know what happens, but maybe I don't. I just think it's like your favorite television series. It all goes dark.
At the end. And then they roll the credits or the other way around.
I don't know. I don't know. You know what? Let's talk about something else.
Okay.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've been having trouble with this lately. So yeah, I mean, huge news in both both teams, and again for the Mets, this is a huge deal in the race for superiority in New York.
It's a race that's never over.
And it really isn't. I mean, how long we've been talking about this? I mean, since we met, we've always talked about what it is in New York. There's no other market where the race between two teams is so prevalent, makes the news. You're
Isn't
on
it
one
funny?
side or the other.
Isn't it
You
funny how
don't put-
the baseball race is so competitive and the football race is almost non-existent? Who's
well
better, the
because
Giants or the Jets? Well, how can you tell? How can you
well
tell who's
because as
better?
we saw yesterday, the Jets suck, and there's only so long that you can take suckage. The Jets are now the longest franchise without a playoff appearance. 14 years. Used to be the Mariners. They made an appearance. They went in and went out quickly.
They show the hello, the tip of your hat, and goodbye.
Now, what does this do to baseball? I mean, I can't imagine at the winter meetings today, when they get started and free agents start getting picked, that this doesn't drive up the price of some.
A lot of one-year deals. That's what it's going to be. People can't take financial change. Like the Dodgers just got Michael Conforto. He was an outfielder for the Mets. He
Yeah,
was a power hitter for the Giants. Couldn't get a job. Got a 1 year deal, 17 million. Now that's a good 1 year deal.
1 year for 17 million. I wish I could find somebody to pay me 17 million for 1 year.
Now you got to you're supposed to. You don't have to, but you're supposed to catch the ball when they hit it to you. That's the idea out there in L.A.
Yeah, well, I expect that in New York as well. But the Angels and the Dodgers have no. There's no rivalry there, is there?
No, no.
No.
No one
Um,
knows where Mike Trout is. We haven't seen him for 5 years. Well, he's on the team. Says you.
yeah, White Sox and the Cubs. There's a little bit of it, but the White Sox haven't been good for so long.
But the Padres and the Mariners. What a rivalry! They hate each
Yeah,
other.
there's a rivalry. Yeah, man, I can only imagine what the first day of spring training is going to look like in in Port St. Lucie. You're not going to be able to get near this place. No other teams are going to get covered. It's going to be wild. I might even take a trip to spring training this year.
So ESPN's go to game will not be the Yankees and the Red Sox. It'll be the Mets and whoever.
Well, you got to think that this is going to get them, the Mets, on national TV a lot more because everybody's going to be curious about how this guy does.
It'll be the Otani of the East Coast.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting you bring him up because that's another thing that happened here. Besides there being a competition, a media competition between the Yankees and the Mets, there's also a media market competition between New York and Los Angeles.
Because
Now,
it's so
last
easy.
year, all the news was about,
Shohei Otani.
yeah, it was about Otani. And he was the biggest, the biggest thing. And all the talk was about Otani. Will be by the time they stopped talking about Otani last year, and now he's a guy that lived up to his promise.
There's a 23-year-old kid coming out of Japan called Sasaki, and everybody's on the list for him. The low
Yeah,
bidders are
except who's
five and
going
a
to have
half,
any money left to get him?
5.5 million from the low bidders like the Giants, 6-7 million a year. Signing bonuses being tossed around. The guy's only 23 years old and has a fastball of 102.5 miles an hour. Ben,
That's great, but again, that's something that hopefully a team like the Mariners are going to look at.
I don't know if they
But
can
the
afford him.
Mariners, obviously Cohen isn't going to make 51 million a year just on the back of Soto. He might. I don't know. I mean, if they sell Soto jerseys and they sell Soto this and Soto that, and it fills the ballpark every night. See that was the thing about Otani that I thought was wise with the Dodgers. Now, the Dodgers don't have the same exact problem the Mets have, but the Mets always have a problem of day two.
Yeah. Now
You
what?
have opening day, everybody turns out, the ballpark is loaded. The next night, there's 22 people in the stands. And it goes on like that until basically school's out or it starts to warm up a little bit.
Yeah.
People don't go and sit and watch baseball in the cold, unless it's a World Series or something like that. So people, especially a place like Seattle, but even in New York, I mean, I remember when, the second day, you went to the game and there was, you could sit in the second or third row. There was nobody
No one's going
there.
to go out to the Yogi Berra. What did he say? No one's going to go out to the ballpark. What did he say? No
Uh,
one's going to
uh,
stop
uh,
him. If
the
people want to come out to
places,
the ballpark, no one's going to stop them.
yeah, yeah. So, is this going to cause? I got a friend who is a diehard Mets fan. Can you imagine that?
A diehard Mets fan. Yeah, you
Diehard
got to
Mets
be.
fan. My friend Patty. And Patty, I grew up with Patty. Now, I haven't talked to her yet. I haven't messaged her yet. But the question I'll have for Patty is, will this bring her out to the ballpark on day two? And if it brings her out to the ballpark on day two, if they can sell more subscriptions for cable, if they can, for sports channel or whatever they call it now, um, if they can match the Yankees with those numbers, then this becomes worth it. This is not just these are not just baseball packages. They're paying for content.
Oh yeah, it's content all right.
They're paying for content. They're paying for a guy who can hit a ball, that they can field the ball, that they can build content around. And it's the only way the deal makes sense. It doesn't make sense. When we were growing up, the deal was you get the gate receipts, you get the road money, you get a little bit of whatever the merchandising is, and that sets your budget. Now, it comes from so many different places.
It better.
The TV rights deals are phenomenal. I think Major League Baseball in the near future is going to take all of the local broadcasting in house. And so they're going to go more on an NFL model. Now, that would, I guess, help teams like the Mariners. But again, it's not that the Mariners don't have a bunch of money. It's just that they run their business model as a business model where we have to make money here. This is a business. Steve Cohen runs his business like he wants to, like he collects art. He's not thinking about making money on it. He's thinking of it's a beautiful thing, and I have it on my wall. And when people like Soto come over to my house to look at it, they drool because I got it.
He's got this.
And that's what Soto is. He's the big piece of art, the big content.
How hard did the Yankees try to keep him?
They said they were in it to the end. I think they were at 760, something like that, 7 something, and then the Mets just put the some more money on it, maybe another year on it or something like that. But see, it wasn't just about. I don't think it was just about, Michael, the money. It's about the money, but this Soto had said, he's quoted as saying that he saw the relationship that Aaron Judge had with Hal Steinbrenner, that they were simpatico.
We're in business
and
together.
He wanted that relationship with somebody. And Steve Cohen, who's a smart businessman, he made his money in stocks, and probably some people say he was part of the Bernie Madoff. I don't know. He picked up on this evidently. And so there will be so many different partnership opportunities for Soto. That's why I say the 765 is just the beginning.
Just the beginning.
Just the beginning. He'll probably. You wouldn't want to be his tax accounting firm, and he's going to need a firm.
Yeah, he's going to need a company working on his behalf.
He's not just going to have he's not going to take his papers over to the woman who works in her garage on April 10th or something like that.
H&R Block on 7th Avenue.
You won't see him sitting in Jackson, whatever it is, Jackson Hewitt.
Mr. Soto, you got receipts for all these deductions? No.
I left them in the car. I'll go get them.
Go get them.
Oh man, that's but it's going to be far beyond what we
It's a lifetime deal, but think about all the things that happened to a ball player in 15 years.
think about. How many ball players aren't even around in 15 years?
Good point.
Now this guy has the potential to be around. He's young, 26. Yeah, 26. Poor guy's got to move out of Santo Domingo. That's for sure.
Ain't gonna see him around San Domingo no more.
No, he's going to need an army to protect him in Santo Domingo.
You can use the Syrian army; they're not using it.
Happiest people right now are probably Belkis Pacheco and Juan Jose Soto. His parents.
They're set.
Well, I mean, they've been set for a while. He didn't play for the Yankees, the Padres, and the Nationals for free. But he's still. I mean, he still. He still made some nice coin out of those teams.
They had a chance to wrap him up for longer deals, but they didn't take advantage of it. Now look at the mess they're in.
Well, reportedly, the Nationals wanted to wrap him up, offered him a long deal, somewhere around 500 million or 400 million, somewhere in there, in 2018, and he didn't want to be stuck on a last place club.
I understand that feeling.
Yeah, he just did. He just said that I know that I can help a club win, and I want to go to a club that wants to win. Now, what the Mets got to do is they got to go out and sign Pete Alonso now.
You're in competition with who on that? A lot of people probably want him.
I have no idea. I'd like to find out who they're in competition with. Um, anybody would want Polar Bear for as a first baseman. Who would want him or a designated hitter?
Giants.
Yeah. So it'll be
And
interesting to see the offers he gets.
a guy like Soto makes the other bats on the team wake up often. Alonso is always awake, but this would be a nondescript challenge. Play ball, Pete.
Yeah, that'll be interesting too. Is what does that do in the clubhouse? Does it set an example that all these people, if you play your butt off and you're a good player and you show up and you hustle and you do all the things that a ball player is supposed to do, that you have the opportunity to make that kind of money? Or are there going to be some guys that say, well, 15 million is good for me?
For how many years though?
For 2 years or something like that, 1 year. It depends. But 15 years, 765 million. God bless him. Um, I
He's
think
earning what
it's
he wants. He probably doesn't want much anymore.
well, yeah. I can't think of what you'd want after signing a deal like that. Breakfast, I guess.
I'd like a little breakfast and I'd like to win.
Yeah, just
Winning puts
don't go
everything
out and
right.
party and get into a car accident or go out and party. And I'm sure they have the contract insured, but don't go out and do something stupid.
That's why the idea of having a driver appeals to me,
Yeah,
especially in New York traffic.
I think in this environment that we're living in, yeah, it might not be a bad idea to have somebody that to just go with them every place. because you don't want him to caught up in any kind of trouble. That's for sure. You don't want somebody trying to hijack him or kidnap him or
That's
carjack
right.
him. You know, I mean, I'm sure he's probably going to go out and buy himself a Bentley Bentayga or something like that, a Bentley SUV. Matter of fact, he might buy one for every day of the week.
Except for Saturday, he's got the Volkswagen bus.
Yeah, Saturdays he's got the orange and blue Volkswagen bus. Oh man. Well, it's a beautiful thing, Michael. It's something that for years we watch all these free agents go to other teams.
Like the
eh,
Dodgers. My God, are they going to ever? How many guys do they need on their team? They're
As
signing
many as it
everybody.
takes to win the World Series. Well, you know what? Steve Cohen says, I'll put as many as I want. It's a rich man's game.
Yeah.
And if you're the
It's a simple
Pittsburgh
game.
Pirates, Seattle
Si-
Mariners,
Forget about it.
you better hope that every single thing goes right.
We had a
And
10
that,
game win streak. When? That was 2 years ago. Oh, and you're still living off that high, huh?
I've been living off the high of the Mets World Series appearance for the last 10 years.
Huh.
This will be 2025 will be the 10th anniversary of the last World Series team. They
Giant fans
lost.
of 208, 210, and 212 have forgotten who was on those teams. They were good. I can't remember any of them.
Well, you know who was on those teams? Michael Conforto, who you just mentioned. Did you mention him on air? Yeah, Michael
Yeah,
Conforto. He was on those teams. He was,
he can hit.
yeah, yeah, nice kid. From what I hear out of Oregon State, was helped lead
He's a
them
be-
to.
he,
Oh, go ahead.
he's a beaver.
Yeah.
He's a beaver.
Well, he goes to the Dodgers. Well,
Oy.
why didn't the Dodgers? Why didn't the Giants want him back?
They are making room. They, their statement is Buster's in charge. He's got the money to spend. He's got himself a starting shortstop. So now it's time for the rest of the team to coalesce around a few more choices. And he's got big money to spend, but he's got to make it attractive because a lot of teams like the Giants make their pitch to a top player, and nothing ever seems to come of it. They don't tour, they don't wine them and dine them. They don't know how to treat the prospective incoming player. They don't know how to attract him. It's got to be more than money.
Yeah. Well, with a city like San Francisco, God, how could you not attract somebody? I mean, with the lore and the legend and everything going on there.
I think Buster's going to make it a better target.
Yeah, I have faith in Buster Posey. I think that Buster Posey will make it um, more attractive to be there, more attractive that um, for that franchise to draw players in. So I'm just looking here a second. Uh, I want to take a look at one of the things I always look at in
What are you looking at? Transactions?
no, I'm looking at who he's most like. The I don't know. I hope they still do that on Baseball Reference. But one of the things I would always look at is Who is he most similar to? Similar batters: Charlie Keller, Josh Hamilton, Cody Bellinger, Teoscar Hernandez, Richard Hidalgo, Kevin Youkilis, Bob Horner, Ron LaCuna, Al Rosen, and Glenn Allen Hill. Those are the
Is this
10 similarities. Uh,
to Soto?
Similar batters through 25. Okay, you want to say something?
This you're talking about Soto?
Yeah, Soto. Um, Similar batters through 25. Bryce Harper, Frank Robinson, Ken Griffey Jr., Mike
Wow,
Trout, Andrew Jones, Eddie Matthews, Miguel Cabrera, Mickey Mantle, Orlando Cepeda, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
that's quite a list.
And out of the 10 I just named, one, two, three, four, five of them are in the Hall of Fame. And then most similar by age: Tony Canigliaro, Frank Robinson at the 21, 22, Mike Trout at 23, Bryce Harper, 24, Bryce Harper, 25, Bryce Harper. So the Mets just signed Bryce Harper
With a little more power.
with a lot more power. So that's the caliber of player.
Well, save him a closet at Cooperstown.
Yeah, with
So we
those
can't.
stats, if he keeps that up for 5 years, he'll get it. Speaking about Cooperstown, the Veterans Committee over the weekend,
Dick Allen
Dick Allen, who
and
definitely belonged there,
the guy from the Pirates. I can't think of his name right now.
and Dave
Dr.
Parker,
Thank you, Dave
who
Parker.
did the Cobra. Happy for both of them. Happy for Dave Parker because he's sick, and I think he deserved it. I think he was one of the predominant players of the game of his era. Of
Dangerous,
that,
dangerous hitters. Don't pitch to that man.
yep, yep. And I think he deserved it, and I'm glad that. And Dick Allen. I mean, the only problem with Dick Allen was that in that age, he was um, he was without a doubt a victim of racial prejudice.
Yeah, he had a hard time in the minors.
Yeah, he was a hard time in the minors and even in the majors. When you still had players, owners that you know way into the '60s wouldn't sign black players. Um, he was a victim of that, and because he was uppity, as they explained it in those days, what they called uppity, which was just a man who said what was on his mind instead of shut up and go along, which a lot of people did do.
And that was Dick Allen for sure.
And Dick Allen certainly my favorite picture of Dick Allen. I have it somewhere. I think on some of my stuff is he's got his batting helmet on and he's smoking a cool before he goes out to bat. He's just sitting there smoking a cool.
I'll have a mentholated cigarette, please.
Yes. Now, but you know that they have arrested somebody in the CEO killing.
Is he arrested or is he just a person of interest?
Well, he's a person. They've identified him as a person of interest, and he has been arrested on gun charges.
So he used his gun. That was foolish.
The police identified Luigi Mangione as a strong person of interest.
Slightly Italian. He's from Altoona.
Altoona, Pennsylvania. Yeah,
So his cover was I'll pretend like I'm coming from Georgia. They'll never know.
seems to be it. Seems to be that he got out of Altoona, went down to Georgia, took the
Made his
bus up
gun.
from Georgia so he wouldn't get detected.
What was that?
Now,
He made his gun.
He made a gun? Oh, he made his gun, I'm told by Kristen.
There you go. Well, no wonder it jammed. So once again, Pennsylvania makes the news.
Oh, what a great state. It's a commonwealth.
You got the guy from you got the guy that tried to knock off Trump, and now you got this
He just
guy who
wanted him to
knocked
stop
off.
playing golf. It wasn't an assassination attempt, it was a commentary on his golf game.
So I guess this guy was in a McDonald's somewhere
And got noticed. Incredible.
and got noticed, and the people called 911, and the cops came and looked at him and said,
Close enough.
"Come with us.
Close enough for the Altoona PD. Get in the car.
Get in the car, pal. You got anything on you?" No wonder he didn't throw the gun away because they were looking for the gun in Central Park. They combing the lake for it,
Not there.
and they couldn't find it. He wasn't letting go of that gun. He made it. It's his
I'm
work
a
of art.
craftsman.
I wonder if they found it on him.
Do we know any more about his motive? Has he got family problems with the insurance company?
I haven't seen anything more about it. I'm just looking at the bulletins on my
It's funny how
phone.
it's bigger news than the rebels take Syria, the Notre Dame Cathedral reopens, Donald Trump does meet the press, beats all those stories.
Yeah. Did you see any of the opening of the cathedral?
Beautiful.
Oh, wasn't it gorgeous? Wasn't it absolutely gorgeous? I mean, the
I like
craftsmanship,
the
the
fact
work.
they knew what they were doing in the Middle Ages, which doesn't make any sense at all because everything else they did was madness. But they seemed to know what they were doing when it came to building cathedrals.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just an incredible piece of work. I mean, that thing looked like it was gone, man.
It was 200 or 300 years old when they burned Jacques de Molay on the steps of the cathedral, just to teach him a lesson. Head of the Knights Templar. They
Yeah,
were
just
just
to
gonna
keep them.
they were just gonna send him and teach him a lesson, but the fire got out of control. What are you gonna do?
Well, when we invite you to a barbecue, we don't tell you that you're going to be the barbecue. We
And
don't
you
do
didn't,
that.
and Fra Aleppo didn't bring the potato salad, so we gotta wait.
I wonder if Juan Soto will buy the cathedral. How much
St.
you want
Patrick,
for it?
yeah, move into
How
St.
much?
Patrick's. Just a little place to hang my hat.
And then he can fly back and forth every day for the games. Unreal. Unreal.
Don't give him a Barry Bonds type chair in the clubhouse. That's my advice. Have a
Yes.
regular chair like everybody else. That's it.
Yes. My total advice is to give him the same stool that everybody else gets.
Yep.
Although I don't know, it didn't work out. Well, I guess it did work out bad with Ken Griffey Jr. I mean, as much as he was a hero here, um,
He wasn't
he
above being
also
a prick.
having that chair gave him, separated him from everybody else in that clubhouse, and they'll tell you that
Don't do it. Do not do that.
they'll tell you that that's not a good thing to do. Never a good thing to do.
No, if it's
Well,
Aaron Rodgers,
Michael,
give him any kind of chair he wants. Yo,
exactly.
Vinny, what?
Well, I'm gonna cut this a little short today because I'm
Okay.
not feeling all that well.
You didn't get much sleep last night, buddy.
I didn't get much sleep. My stomach is doing flip flops, and
Is Daisy there to comfort you?
you know what? Daisy's upstairs, and I think I'm gonna go upstairs for a little while and lie down on the couch and get Daisy, give Daisy some petting.
It's a good project. Can't go wrong.
Some petting. So how about if we meet up on Wednesday?
It'll be a wacky Wednesday. I hope you're prepared.
It'll be Wacky Wednesday, and man, my phone is going off like it's it's all the CEO feeling.
The arrest. Well, I hope they got the right guy.
Yeah, I hope so too. It's a terrible thing, but you know what? I hope it makes people look at healthcare in this country. I don't think it will,
No.
but I hope it. I hope it makes.
They'll miss the point. They'll miss the point entirely.
Yeah, I hope it makes people look at healthcare in this country, and if any good comes out of it. But I don't think these companies are going to get regulated. As a matter of fact, with that news this morning that I heard that they want to privatize the veterans' hospitals and healthcare system, that
doomed to failure.
That's just going to be a quagmire.
Get some sleep, Ben. Good to see you. Congratulations, Mets.
All right. Wednesday,
10-10.
If the Lord's will and the creek don't rise, peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby. And let's go Mets.
Little Manischewitz couldn't hurt. Get a bottle. Send a bottle of Manischewitz over to Soto's table.
I like that. Scotch and soda, baby. See you later. Bye-bye. Thank you all for listening, too. I always appreciate it. We always appreciate it. And we'll see you on Wednesday morning. Bye-bye.